viewers, welcome to Family Time today. Today we are back with something that would inspire, heal, and give you the nuggets that you need to enjoy your marriage and relationship. With me today is, as usual, my beautiful wife who just promoted me last week. I have been captain all these years, and finally I leapfrogged from the post of captain, or the rank of captain, to the rank of general a few weeks ago. So I'm celebrating that. So we welcome my wife. My honey, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, viewers. Stay tight. Just tell your friends that Family Time today is on. Thank you.
Yes, we are on. Today we will talk about expectations. I know we just had the holidays, so we're not talking about your expectations for the holidays. We're talking about the expectations for life. We all have our individual expectations when we were going to marriage, expectations in life, expectations in college, expectations for our children, and expectations from our friends, what we expect them. And I was looking through the dictionary to really define what expectations are so that we're all on the same page. And here's what I came up with. Expectation is a strong belief that something will happen. There's something they say in Nigeria, where we came from originally. They say that talk is cheap. But I tell you what is cheaper. Daydreaming is cheaper. And we all do that. Before we got into marriage, we had a long list of the things, an idea of what we wanted to accomplish through our marriage. Some of us, the ladies, wanted to marry a Prince Charming. The guys wanted to marry the most beautiful woman in the world with all the figure eights. Some of those expectations are met. Some have not been met. Some will never be met because they were unrealistic from day one. And that's where we are going to focus on today. Unrealistic expectations. The expectations that we are dead on arrival. When we even started, we thought they were possible, but in reality they were utopian. They were never going to be accomplished. I can tell you that my idea when I was growing up were all over the place. The older you get, the more you realize that this is not achievable. The same thing in marriage. You and I had expectations. Some of those expectations were from what we made up of ourselves, by ourselves, I mean. Some were because of the impression that our significant other gave us. They misrepresented things intentionally or unintentionally. And now we are in marriage. We're not realizing them, and it's causing a lot of problems. But today we'll focus on unrealistic expectations. Honey, why do people have unrealistic expectations?
Oh, well, just like you said, a moment ago, that people just have expectations. I mean, everybody born of a woman has an expectation.
Yes.
From childhood until you grew up. And you know what? It's funny you said that, because expectations could be, like you could grow up in a certain neighborhood, and everybody's going this direction, everyone you grew up with, and then you follow to go that direction, and you grow up with all these ideas in your head. I just got off chatting on BlackBerry with a young lady in London.
Okay.
And she told me, I've been mentoring her for a minute, and she says, you know what, I am so confused, I need your help. And I'm like, what is the problem? She's telling me that she is stuck with a decision. She's got to make a decision. She has two guys that want to marry her. One of them is tall and has means, has money, working in an oil company. And then the other one is a little bit shorter, and he's in his PhD program, You know, he doesn't have that much means now.
All he has is
But
hope.
all he has is hope. But she's telling me that she connects better with the shorter guy. But then, naturally, she does not like shorter guys. So now she's confused. And both men are wooing her for marriage. See, she has the expectation that she's going to marry a tall guy.
A tall guy.
She probably has expectation that she's going to marry a guy with means.
And six-pack, maybe.
You see? So now, she's not married, but she already has the expectation. So I'm asking her, what is your heart telling you? And she's like, she's flustered. I'm confused. I don't know what to do.
Her heart is connecting with what her eyes shouldn't connect with.
Yes.
So there's a conflict that is going on. And,
Exactly.
and those are those unrealistic expectations. Her expectation was to build this castle. I'm going to marry a 6'5" guy, heavily built with all muscles. And now what's available and what she's connecting with is a guy who is 5'2" and maybe flabby. And all he has is a lot of things in his head. He's doing PhD, so that means he's very intelligent. It's going to be an
It's not
academic.
what is available. Both of them are available.
Okay.
But the point is, you got to go beyond what you can see. And that's the confusion she's having. And you're right. You're very right. That what her heart is feeling is not matching with what her eyes are seeing. She would have wished, oh, I wish that this guy that I'm connecting with is just a little bit taller. And you know, the way she was just describing it, thank God that it's only the girls that wear heels. Because otherwise, she could have given him a little bit of heels to give him a little bit of a lift, you know. But after 25 years of marriage, I can relate. I really can relate. Whenever it's time in life, you're always going to be faced with some choices.
Yes.
And those your choices are going to be affected by what your expectations are. The preconceived ideas that you have. Every young girl want to be a princess, want to be a queen, want to have a castle where, you know, you are the one. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
You see, so but what you meet in reality is different from what you've built.
And that's the key. The reality does not always equate to the dream. I'm sure we all have heard it said, this is not what I bargained for. This is not what I planned for. This was not my expectation. And there's no other place that is very frequently said to ourselves. We may not say it aloud, but we say it to ourselves. This is not what I bargained for. This is not what I planned. So we've already seen it. Sometimes we build castles. That's one reason. Those castles are unrealistic. The reality is that there are only a few princes. Every guy is not a prince. So, and when they are taken, you have to take the foot soldiers.
Well, no guy believes he's not a prince.
Okay.
You probably say every guy is not gonna be your prince.
Your prince. Okay, that's a better way
You
of
see what I'm
saying
saying?
it. Every guy is a
Which
prince.
guy
but
is
not
gonna
your
believe
prince.
that they're not princes?
They're not princes.
You
yeah.
know, I mean, you see what I'm
Because
saying?
the guy with PhD is saying, baby, just hold
I'm
on.
your
It's a,
prince.
it's a matter of days.
There you
I'm
go.
going to get this certificate and I'll build you a castle.
That's right.
And the guy in the oil company say, you don't have to wait.
Yes.
You got it now.
Yeah,
So-
I'll make it happen. But then this is what we see. When your heart is not connecting,
As her own is not connected.
as our own is, I've asked her a question and she has not answered it yet. We were just talking about this before we got on set. Now, if your heart is not connecting to that person, you're probably not going to find a place in their own heart.
That's true.
You know, you're probably not going to find a place in their heart. So what we're saying is it right to have expectations? Of course. You see, but is expectations alone going to be your basis of making choices? Probably not.
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
It ain't gonna fit.
It doesn't fit.
No,
Some of us build our expectations and we are looking for a guy or a lady that would be shoveled and forced into that hole that we have built. And it's not realistic. But one thing that we all know is that as you are in marriage, you adjust your expectations. And then you also use what you have to get to where you need to get to. So we've talked about people building expectations. One other one that I know, and that's a story that I have, is people misrepresenting who they are. And this happens a lot with us in the diaspora. You know, guys going to Nigeria, and you are a car salesman here, and you go there, you go to Africa, to your home country, and you say, I am the owner of the car dealership. I own a car company. But you're a car salesman there. And the lady marries you with that expectations. And it's not real. And when she gets here, when you finally get married, she realizes it's not true. You have misrepresented things. She's built her expectations based on that, and it's not working. Don't turn on that dial. We'll be right back, and we'll continue on this wonderful discussion.
Together Forever is a team of marriage mentors and relationship coaches dedicated to helping singles, couples, and families to maximize their potential. Call us for all of your family enrichment seminars, conferences, picnics, and workshops. We speak at churches, clubs, association groups, and companies. Call Together Forever at 713-498-6211. Single and engaged couples, start your marriage right. Call 713-498-6211. Married couples, you don't have to die in silence anymore. There is help for your marriage and family. If you are going through a rough phase in your marriage, call us before you call your divorce lawyer. We may not have been there when you made your marriage vow, but we are here to help you keep your vow. Pick up the phone now and call 713-498-6211 or send us an email at info@togetherforever.org.
Yes, viewers, welcome back to Family Time today. Before we went on a short break, we were talking about unrealistic expectations. And we were at the point where we were saying that you can get unrealistic expectation based on the impression that you get from the impression that was created by your significant other. So two impressions. Someone creates an impression, and then you draw an inference and form your own impression. And based on that, you build an expectation. He said he owns a dealership. He doesn't sell cars. He owns where they sell cars. Therefore, we are rich. So you are coming to America expecting to live in a castle. And then when you get here, it's not a castle. So honey, where do we go from there?
Very devastating. A lot of people have really been devastated by that false information. And all we can say is just if you get a wife or a husband by such deceit, you're not going to enjoy marriage.
Yes.
Because the foundation of that marriage is already messed up. You see? But on the other hand, on the flip side, because two people are involved here, and both are to be blamed. If somebody comes and represents a fact, you know, just like we're talking about tall and short, did you do your due diligence? I mean, should people be so naive as to believe whatever they hear, you know? So I want to say that sometimes, yes, it's deception, and anybody can fall into deception. But the point is, if you're going to say yes to that man just because he owns a car dealership, you probably bought what you bargained for.
Yes, some of us are so fixated in certain things. We want a rich man. So we want to believe a guy when he says, I'm rich. Well, what is he going to do? He wants to marry you. He wants to sleep with you. He tells you what he thinks you want to hear. And because you already want to hear it, he doesn't have to do a whole lot of work. He just says it and you believe it and you marry him. And that's why we have to, as my wife said, do our due diligence. Due diligence in these days of research, do your research, pray about it. Ask God, is this the man or the woman for me? As in the case study you were talking about, that man, that woman's man may be that short man that she did not like. But that's who God has for her. And that's where she's going to be happy.
And you know what? Unfortunately, she's at a dicey situation right now. And a lot of people are that. If you're married and you're watching us, you can attest to the fact that before you met your spouse, there were two guys, if you're a lady. Or a man, I don't know about men, but I know usually with ladies, there's always two guys, maybe guy A, guy B.
And I didn't know you had another.
Honey, hang on one second. We are on family time today.
This is not about you, right? You're trying to dodge it.
Because let me tell you the truth. There's always that man that, you know, for instance, honey, remember years ago, when you came to me, I told you, I said, I'm really not very comfortable with tall guys.
Yeah, you said that.
Because you know, my frame is a small frame. And I didn't want to get married to a man that I'm going to feel inadequate besides him. I mean, and I know for some of our viewers it might sound really, really weird because you would have thought since I'm very small and short, petite, maybe I should have married somebody that's tall. At least we get some children that are tall, right? But that's not it. That was my own expectations. I wanted someone that is kind of like not too tall from me, just a little. So when you showed up to me, you were very tall.
So for real, was there a short guy that was on the side?
Hang on one second. Because
I really want to know, since you're bringing this out on television.
About it.
28 years ago, was there a short guy?
There was no short guy.
Okay.
But the thing is,
I want to feel good.
but the thing is, it could have been a deal breaker for me. But I was smart enough, and God being gracious to me, you know, to say, let me go beyond what I can see and really find out the person behind this guy.
And that's the key.
And that was my key. Because then I said, when I got through the physical, then I began to say, okay, what is this person made of? And then when I began to find, I said, gosh, this man has the patience of, who is that, Joe? I mean, like, the patience of anybody that I could ever imagine.
Plus, you're forgetting
and
the fried plantain.
Listen. Oh, there was fried plantain. Now we're telling the viewers all about our business.
But fried plantain and egg.
Yes, and that was good too. But you know what? You got to realize that where is my heart?
Yes.
What is the intangible things that are important to me?
Beyond height.
Beyond the physical things. Because it takes a minute for the physical to go away. It really does. You see, so that's when people say my expectations are this and that and that. Those expectations, how did you form them?
How did you form them? And that's a very good question. How were those expectations formulated? Are they based on reality? Are they based on things that are achievable? Some of us want to marry our dad, our father, somebody like our dad, somebody like our mom, because we're so close to our mom and we get along so well and we pray. We may not verbalize it, but indirectly that's what we are hoping. I wish I can find someone that is as good as my dad. Reality is that your dad is your dad, your husband is your husband.
That's right.
And if you find a man and you want to fit him into your dad, that's an unrealistic expectation. Mm-hmm. So my wife wanted someone who was tall, who was short, right? Shorter than maybe
than
me,
you.
me, and I'm not that tall, but
right.
Shorter than me. Mm-hmm. But she had a presence of mind to look beyond her expectation and say, what is this expectations anchored in? And these things are very important because we're going to talk about unmet and unfulfilled expectations. Because at the end of the day, this is the source of a lot of unhappiness in marriage.
That's right.
Because this lady now that we are talking about, can you imagine what will happen if she goes with her head, rather with her feeling,
Right.
and marries
Her
that
eyes,
oil
too.
company guy that has money now, that is tall, and then the oil company guy does not have a minute for her, don't love her, don't show her love. It doesn't work.
5 years down the line,
Mhm.
she's gonna be very miserable.
The rest
She's
of her
gonna
life.
Yeah, you know, she's gonna be miserable because at that time reality sets in, and she's stuck with it.
Yes.
You see, so ladies, go with your heart. And then again, honey, even if you got your expectations met at the beginning of marriage, there is also a part of it where right into the marriage, that expectation may not last as long as you wish it to last.
It was reality,
Right.
becomes unrealizable,
Right.
unrealistic because
Right.
of things that change. We will talk about the met expectation
You know,
down the line.
because people, life happens.
Life happened.
And so when life happens and those things that you hoped will, you know, you expected in the relationship may not actualize as it has always been. So in other words, if you follow your heart, it's always easier to bounce back when that expectation is cut off.
So have an expectation, but follow your heart. So it gotta be a combination of your heart and your head.
Right.
You gotta balance your heart
That's it too.
and your head for you to be able to arrive at what is safe. So viewers, we are talking about unrealistic expectations that we have it,